Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to Girl, You're a Goddess, the sacred space where we step into our feminine power, owning our worth, and creating a life that feels deliciously aligned. I'm Hilary Burton, a women's empowerment coach, therapist, and professional dominatrix. Think of me as your personal guide and hype woman on this journey to unleashing your deepest confidence, sensuality, and self-love. If you're ready to heal, rise, and start living like the goddess you are, you're in the right place. So pour your tea or pop that bubbly and let's dive in. Our beautiful guest today is Larissa. Larissa Russell is a highly esteemed spiritual guide, business mentor, and transformation facilitator. Recognized for her mastery in merging creative and intuitive practices with entrepreneurial acumen. As the founder of Heart-Centered Academy, she creates a nurturing environment that promotes deep self-exploration and personal growth. Larissa is dedicated to empowering women to unlock their inner potential, guiding them to align their life and business endeavors with their core spiritual values and intuitive insights. Larissa, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I absolutely love what you are doing with helping women tap into their inner authenticity, their divine feminine, especially in the entrepreneurial space. And we talk a lot about feminine energy, masculine energy, and because entrepreneurship is such a masculine space to be in, it's so incredible that we have other women who are supporting and empowering the feminine in business.
Yeah. It's so important.
Yeah.
So important.
It is. It is. Before we get into all of that, I want to know how you got started doing what you're doing and your personal journey to get here.
What version? The long version, the short version?
Girl, we got time. Give us the long version.
We got time. I'll do a condensed long version. So many, many years of depression and anxiety and, all of those things. And about 8-9 years ago now, I had a severe bout of depression that nearly took my life. And from that, I recognize that the system is not built for people who need help. And so mental health system is just not there. Doesn't matter what country you're in. I'm in Canada, you're in this, doesn't matter. And
I did hear a little bit of your Canadian accent with the about. I was like,
people say, I've never heard the about. I've never heard it. But...
Okay.
Yes. So from that, I was hospitalized for a very short period of time. They released me in the middle of the night to walk home. I live downtown. Not that, nothing about this was a good thing. Yeah.
Walking home in the middle of the night after being in the hospital
in the morning. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Because oh my gosh. There was people who needed the space more than I did. If I had not been more exhausted, if I had been less exhausted, I knew I had to write letters to my kids and I just couldn't deal with it, right? So it was just like, I'm going to go to bed. Something happened that night where I woke up in the morning and realized that I could not count on anyone else. I could not count on our medical system, the doctors, anyone to help me. And so I needed to do something.
Yeah.
From that, I started painting. I started journaling. I started really deep digging into my creativity and tapping into the spiritual side of me and, what I needed. And after a number of years of working on myself, I started to share that and started sharing healing with creativity. From that, I recognized some core issues in the online space. Core challenges. That's probably a better word. In the online space, there's so many women who don't believe in themselves, who don't think that they can do it, or they think that they have to do it the way it's always been done, right?
Yes.
A very masculine energy way. And so I started to be coaching more and more women business owners. And from that, we slightly shifted towards business coaching. but in that feminine energy of, using your intuition, resting, being
Yes.
collaborative, all of the things that go against what we're told to do,
Yes.
but the
Yes.
things that work for women. Women need these things. The
Yeah.
manipulation and the pushing and the, 5 a.m. go, go, go doesn't work
Mhm.
for women. And so
Yeah.
there are some women who think it works for them, but trust me, eventually you're going to burn out. So it doesn't work. And so
Yes.
it,
Yeah. And when you're able to see the difference of a feminine led business versus leading your business a masculine, it's night and day, even when it's your own business and you feel that you're successful in your masculine energy. When you're able to switch and to lead it from more feminine, it's a completely different business model. You have completely different energy. And I love that you were talking about tapping in your creativity too, because I feel like some of the most successful feminine led business models are very creative and they leave space for being open and flowing and not being so rigid and structured. And I think
yeah,
that's a huge aspect. Yeah. Yeah.
it's one of the things that, I fight in my own self. I am a very
Mm-hmm.
creative being, and I know when I take breaks and
Yeah.
create throughout the day, for myself, I get more accomplished. I do more, but I still beat
Mm-hmm.
myself up because I'm still working through that masculine energy that we have been,
Yes.
bombarded with for our whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm reaching, I'm pretty close to 60 now. I've had that
Oh,
really fed to me for a long time.
I would have had no idea. That's
Oh,
incredible.
well, thank you.
That
But
that speaks. Hey, that speaks volumes to being in your feminine energy, though. Yes.
yes, yes, because it releases so much. And I
Mm-hmm.
am definitely still, I still get caught up in it. I still get caught up in that, oh, I need to work harder. And then I remind
Yeah.
myself, no, because I know that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We just get stuck on that. It's like that hamster wheel, right? Of more productive, more burnout, more productive, more burnout, and then we're not even doing largely things that are moving the needle, anyways. It's
Yeah.
more of busy work to make ourselves feel productive, so that we feel more valuable and we feel more worthy. And
And
getting that external validation that's telling us we have to be productive to be worthy. And like, no, no, no. We
no.
are inherently worthy. We don't need all of this productivity. We don't need to produce something to show that,
Mhm.
we have value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it's been so ingrained in you, though, that you have to
Mm-hmm.
work hard, that you have to
Yeah.
push, 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 that you have to produce everything. And creativity is a really big one, right? That if we're not producing to sell it, if somebody else doesn't find value in it, then it's not important. And it's so
Mm-hmm.
important because it actually feeds our soul and allows us to do other things, gives us the
Yes.
energy to do other things. And so
Yeah.
it is vitally important to add creativity in whatever way is
Yeah.
for you, right? It doesn't have to be painting, it doesn't have to, whatever. It could be gardening or baking or working on, graphics if you love doing that. Something that really
Yeah.
feeds you, right?
Yeah.
And so important.
And the incredible thing about that is, even if we're creative in something other than our work, something other than our business, that opens the doors to so many other opportunities. I feel like it kind of expands our perception of what we're capable of, what we're good at, the skills we have. When we're tapping into other things outside of like our day to day, I feel like it completely expands what's possible.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But we don't recognize it because we have been taught that we have to be sitting at this desk for 8+ hours a
Mhm.
day. We have to be producing, we have to push, push, push. Everything needs to be difficult. If it's easy, you're
Yeah.
not doing it right. All of those things. And so when we can step away and breathe, do something
Mhm.
else, open our minds up to other things,
Yeah.
everything becomes easier. But then we fight that, right? We fight the
Yeah.
ease of it because we're doing it wrong. No, no,
We're
that's
trained that
where
it
you want to
can't be
be.
easy.
Yeah,
Dang, I must not be doing it right.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
So it's something that I've struggled with a lot too, is allowing myself to rest and giving myself that space and not feeling guilty about it, not feeling like I need to be more productive. And I know so many women struggle with that.
Hmm.
what are some tools that you help women with in being open to resting, being able to receive that space?
One of the things we do is tracking, because when we see the evidence of it, it can be really
Yeah.
helpful, right? So,
Okay.
what days are you taking time for yourself? If you
Mm.
need that proof for yourself, right? Because our
Yeah.
brain plays tricks on us, then you can see, like, okay, I took an hour break and I went for a walk or I baked a cake or whatever it is. And when I came back, I knocked out boop, 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 right? And when you
Yeah.
track those things and see it, that's sort of like giving you proof.
Hmm.
But the
Yeah.
also the more you do it, whether you're
Mhm.
tracking or not, you start to recognize the stories that we tell ourselves, though, is that whole reprogramming. We need to reprogram everything that we've been taught. And
Yes.
and that's the constant, rewording of things, constantly affirming that what we're doing is correct.
Mhm.
It's working for us. It doesn't have to work for somebody else. It works for us. And testing out things to see what's working, right?
Yeah.
My type of rest may not be the same as somebody else. My type of creativity may not be the same for somebody else.
Hmm. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of those things, right? And so really checking in with ourselves, is this
Mm.
feel good? Like, does it feel good to me? And not the head chatter that's telling you it's wrong, but what does it feel like in my body? Do I
Yeah.
feel, more
Mm.
settled? Do I feel calmer? Do I feel more productive? All of those things are way more important than that head chatter that just goes on and on
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
The embodiment, right? That somatic experience. And I feel like that even ties in more of regulating our nervous system too, because we're not in this super heightened state of what's going on. I have these million things running in my head. I can't focus. And so being able to actually check in with your body. How
Yeah.
do I feel about this? And there are so many things in my personal life that have lit me up, things that I've just tried that I didn't even think that I would like or didn't have a connection to. And I'm like, I'm just going to try it. And they lit me up. And now it's something that helps me tap into my creativity, my sensuality, my feminine.
Mhm.
Um, and there was something else that you were speaking to that I wanted to touch on. Um, oh, okay. So I have a personal anecdote to kind of tracking and seeing what it feels like when we're in our rest and how that turns out for us.
Mhm.
And so um, I was going on a vacation. I felt kind of guilty about it because I was like, okay, I didn't get everything I wanted to get done beforehand.
Mhm.
I was trying to plan out all of my content for all of the days, and it didn't happen. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to let that go. I'm going to release it. That is not for me right now. I'm meant to enjoy my time in indulgence, feminine energy, and went on this incredible trip. And I got more sales and more success in my business when I was resting, when I released it all, when it wasn't even a thought in my mind, because I was in alignment with my soul, with my feminine energy. I was just so aligned and I wasn't worried about it. And so I feel like when we can take those times to actually say, okay, I'm going to do this and let's see what happens. Let's see
Yeah.
what happens. Yeah.
And it is incredibly hard to do. It really is. I understand that, right? Because
Yeah.
literally from day one, we are told, produce, we have to be productive, we have to be behaving a certain way, we have to do it this way, everything. And so when we step outside of that, it is really difficult. I'm, not
Yeah.
going to argue that. But when you start to see the evidence of it, when you start
Mhm.
to feel the lightness of it, when you start to feel the ease of it, at first
Yeah.
you're like a little bit like, what's going on, right?
Yeah. Like, is this really happening?
Yeah.
Did I
And then it gets, oh, okay. No, I can live like this. I don't have to work all the time. I don't have to push,
Yeah.
push, push. It is
Yes.
so important that we look after ourselves because we show up
Right.
for our clients better, we show up for our families better, we show up in all ways better.
Yes. Yes. No, it's so true. And I love that you touched on that because everyone does feel the ripple effect of our abundance, of our joy, of our pleasure. And so when we're able to create that for ourselves, and it's operating with your cup full, right? If our cup is full, then we can give from a full cup to others. But usually, most of us are running on an empty cup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have nothing to give ourselves, much less being able to give anyone else our full self also.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the value that our society places on women. And then if you're a woman who doesn't perform in a certain way, it lowers it again, right? And so we have all of these layers that we have to work through. When we can feed our soul, fill our cup, it changes everything in how other people perceive us. You know, if
Yeah.
you're uncomfortable sharing that, you spent the day doing something else, don't share it, right? If you're going to get pushback. But just know for
Yeah.
your own self, this works for you. This works for you.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't
Yes.
matter if you don't have to prove it to anyone. You don't have to prove to anyone that, I worked 12 hours today. I pushed.
Yeah.
You don't have to prove that, right? We're so
Yeah.
over it. I'm so over it. Maybe because I'm old, but I'm just so over
We
it.
are over it. Yeah,
We're
and
all
it's
over it.
the justification, right? Well, I was able to give myself this break because I did this yesterday. Because I worked
Hmm.
really, really hard yesterday for 12 hours. And so now I'm able to give myself a break today. And it's like, we don't have to earn that. We don't
Yeah.
have to earn rest. We don't have to earn our time freedom or our alignment. That's just natural. That's inherent.
Yes. But we haven't been
Yeah.
shown what is inherent
No,
to us,
no.
right? At all.
And
And so we have to learn that or relearn that what is
yeah,
inherent to us. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a complete reprogramming. And I do believe that's by design. I do believe that women are disconnected from their sensual energy, from their feminine and their intuition by design because we're very powerful.
Yeah.
We're incredibly powerful, and we're a literal portal of creation. And so we have been taught from day one to suppress that, to make ourselves small, to dim our light, to raise everyone else on a pedestal instead of ourselves.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
it really is, I believe, fear. Women are so powerful. And that
Mm-hmm.
fear of that power is what has, so we start right at birth. It's like, let's just make sure they know their place. Let's make sure that they don't know their value. Let's make sure, and everything is
Yes.
suppressed. And as
Yes.
we start to open up to it, it's like, wait a minute.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I get it now. I see why you
Yeah.
were afraid. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And
And
yeah,
it's interesting too, because how long have you been in Canada? Are you born and raised
born and raised in Canada.
Canadian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I love speaking to women from different places too, because I'm in the US. So we have different political climates and different experiences, but also I feel like the suppression of the feminine is so universal
Yes.
everywhere.
Yeah.
We have all had that experience literally from birth.
There was just this unspoken rule at a certain point where it's like, okay, they're going to just take over the world if we don't do something. So we need to do something. And the whole world went, okay, let's stop this right here. And that's why we're
Yeah.
seeing the upheaval that we're seeing now too in the political climate, is that that's shifting, right? If you're paying attention to the undercurrent energy, you can feel the shift of it. And
Yeah.
that's why we're seeing the political climate across the globe that we are. That's why we're
Yeah.
seeing all this, because of the fear, because of the shifts in power. And so, it's all shifting. That's one of the reasons I can look at what's going on and go, this is actually a good thing. Horrible
Yes.
what's
Yeah.
happening, but I understand why it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah.
And you see all of these people starting to stand up and use their voice, and the protests that are going on, and the people who are speaking up. People are starting to step up. We'd gotten way too complacent, and we were just allowing things. Now it's
Yeah.
like, no, we're not allowing anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there is a massive energetic shift going on, and there's a huge change in all of that. And I mean, what an incredible time right now, because this is a massive feminine awakening. I
Yeah.
mean, you and I are two women in a huge collective of women that are learning the power of their feminine, their sensual energy, and elevating the collective with this awakening. And like, we chose to be here during this time for this reason. But also, some days I'm just like, what a privilege it is to be here right now and being part of this. And as women leading the way for this and giving other women permission to use their voice, to stand in their power, to feel confident and worthy and valued. And it's such a privilege right now.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. As difficult as it is, right? It's not easy. It's not easy
No.
it is inherently who we are. But when you see the pushback and the more vocal you are, the more pushback you get, and everybody has to go through the shift. When you make changes, regardless of what the changes are, there's always upheaval. And so, when we start in the self-awareness world, it's like people get uncomfortable because things are going to shift, things are changing. Oh, she never said no to me before. No, like all of those things. And so everything starts to shift. But the more that we stand in that, the more confident we become, the more comfortable we are with who we are, all of those things, so that we can show up and just be the best version of ourselves and help other people be the best version of themselves. It's not a, the difference between the masculine and feminine is the masculine energy, which is really quite toxic right now, but the toxic masculine energy is about power over, whereas the feminine, divine feminine energy is about power within, right? And so it's that power that can then help other people as opposed to trying to suppress, because we don't need the power over. But that's also one of the big fears. Give women power, they're just going to squash.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because there's a lot of information going on about matriarchy versus patriarchy right now. And the perception is that in a matriarchy, women would just be ruling over men, right? We'd control them, we would suppress them through fear, as we currently live in the patriarchy. And it's no. We don't need the control. We don't need the fear to suppress you, right? It's just, that's the natural way of the feminine leadership and the feminine authority. And like, we don't need to operate out of that. But we are just elevating the collective. We want to bring abundance and wealth and joy and pleasure. And that also kind of touches on the topic of collaboration, because earlier you spoke about competition, and we're taught to compete with other women, and there's not enough, and there's scarcity, and women are competing for the two good men that exist in the world, right? Like, silly, there's more than that, but you know what I mean? So, but yeah, so speaking to the collaboration of women, and the more that we are able to connect and work together to empower one another, to help each other build our businesses, to help elevate, that's incredibly powerful.
It is so important. And it is a very feminine energy, right? To collaborate and uplift others, because it uplifts us as well. And when we're collaborating, and I talk to women about this a lot, because they're like, oh, I'm afraid they're going to steal my ideas, or I'm afraid, they're going to take this. And you are the product. Whatever you're selling is not the product. You are the product. And your uniqueness is what people are purchasing. And yes, some people may resonate more with you, and some people may resonate more with me. It's not a competition. It's about how can we best support everyone with what they need, right? Some people need this voice, some people need that voice, some people need both. And so how can we support everyone? Not how can we get what we need from them? How can we support others? It's a completely different energy.
It is. It is. And it's interesting because I think about the interactions I've had with women in sales and the interaction I've had with men in sales, right? And men are typically like, what can I get from you? What can I take from you? And it's more of that, like, they want to receive, they want to take something from you, they want to get something. And for women, I feel like it's more like, here's what I have to offer for you. Here's the help. Here's the guidance. This is for you if you're interested. This is for you if you feel like this will be aligned with you. And it's such a different energy. And it's more of women giving that, not trying to take something from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's inherently who we are.
Yeah.
Where we get caught often, and I see this a lot, is then we overgive, we undervalue
Yes.
ourselves, we don't charge enough, we want to give you everything. And so finding that balance, right? We do need masculine energy. We don't need it all feminine and or all masculine. We need a balance. It's not even a balance. We need a harmony of masculine and feminine energy. And
Yeah.
we need to have boundaries. We need to have clear we need to know who we are and what our value is. And that's probably the biggest struggle that I see with women in business is,
Yeah.
they have great offers and they want to share and they want to help people, but then they don't value themselves enough. And
Yeah.
so what can they do to find that boundaries? But it's about learning about yourself. And that's really the biggest thing I learned in the journey that I've taken in my business is that women really need to do the self work because your business is going to bring out every insecurity you've ever had. It's going to bring up every trauma you've ever had.
Yeah.
And so you need to be able to go inward and look at how you're showing up. What are you doing that's in your best interest and their best interest? All of those things. And so there's a lot of self-awareness work that's needed for women in business. If you don't want to burn out and
Yeah. And it's interesting. I have conversations about this all the time that your business, your entrepreneurship journey is the biggest personal development journey you will ever go through because your business is literally a reflection of you and your self-worth, how much you value yourself, how much you value what you're putting out in the world, because if you don't value it, no one else is going to. And I love what you spoke on about you are the product. People are connecting with you and your vision, your alignment, your message. So many of us can be speaking on the same thing. We can have the same course or the same product, but it's us. It's our energy that people feel called to or aligned to. And so I love that because that ties into the collaboration. There are so many of us here to help everyone in any way that we can. And also having the boundary of valuing ourselves.
Yeah.
We're not just doing this for free. We're not just putting out all of this energy and not receiving anything in return. And that is the beauty of the feminine in business because we open ourselves to receiving. And I'm going to receive this abundance for the positive energy and the frequency that I'm putting out in the world.
And that is the collaboration, right? There's collaborations. You're working with other entrepreneurs and doing things. I'm a huge proponent of that. But the collaboration between you and customer, between you and client is that reciprocal. You get, they get, and everybody is getting what they need.
Yes.
Excuse me, that will, empower everyone, will help people end up where they need to end up, right? And I find that often because we're taught that, we're not good with money or we aren't valued enough that we should be charging that or whatever it is, pricing and things like that, it becomes this huge sticking point for women and, over delivering, right? We're giving everything for, next to nothing. And so finding that balance is quite a journey to go on. But as you start to do the work, the personal work, right? That self-awareness work, it really does shift. And, if somebody is in that, well, I can't charge more, I can't, no one's going to buy it if, okay, that's the time to start going inward.
Yeah.
Right? It has nothing to do with anybody else. There's always somebody. I had a story. I would always tell myself, there's no sense putting anything for sale in December because nobody has money in December. This was a story I had from growing up, right? Because we got overextended every year.
Yeah.
It's always a big deal. No extra money for anything. A few
I
years
feel like that's super common,
I went to Disney at Christmas. Go to Disney at Christmas and there are people with money at Christmas.
Yeah.
It's also not a time I would choose to ever go there again, but it's, you recognize it was like such an aha moment for me that there are different people in different areas. Like everybody,
Yeah.
right, has
Yeah.
different stories, and everybody has different circumstances. And there is not everybody on the planet is broke in December. Not everybody on the planet doesn't, want to spend that money. There's different, you have to value yourself, and the people who are meant to be with you will be with you. But you have to value
Yes.
yourself first. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's huge. And I love the kind of awakening of that eye-opening experience that, wait, this story that I told myself, this story that I grew up with is not everyone else's story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
But that's so common. And we haven't seen those other things. So it doesn't even occur to us that there is a different way of life and that people have different circumstances. And so, I mean, that's happened to me so many times. I've thought, well, people aren't going to attend a networking event here in Phoenix because it's 110. I'm like, well, nobody's here in the summer. Nobody's going to attend an event. That was one of my biggest months for attending an event because everyone else was bored and they were sitting at home and they were like, I want something to go do. Right. And so, but it's those stories that we tell ourselves, and really addressing those and tapping into that awareness changes how you're showing up in your business too. And if you're telling yourself no one's going to buy in December, nobody's going to buy in December.
Yeah.
You will create that reality. Yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely was true until I shifted that. And then it was like, oh, no, I actually wasn't offering anything in December for anybody to purchase it. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I had that idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
And starting to explore that. And I think that comes back to your point about as we, see other people in the world and what they're doing, talk to other people, as we have other experiences, it can really shift our perception. And that's why I think collaboration is also very important, because you get different perspectives on things. And, you talk to people from other countries and it could even just be other cities or states, but people who have different experiences, it really can open you up to so much more. And then you take that information and go, okay, what stories am I telling myself? Because everything is a story. We're not born with any of this things that we've decided are true or not. And so everything's a story. And so as we explore what other people are experiencing, then we can go, okay, what have I been telling myself about this? And start to explore that. And I think that's vitally important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It brings me back to kind of like what we tell ourselves about our businesses and what they have to look like versus what it actually can end up looking like. So can you give us kind of a visual or an experience of a woman who's running her business through a good harmony, balance of feminine and masculine energy? What would she be feeling? What does it look like? Or is it different for everyone?
It really is different for everyone. But the biggest thing is when you start to feel into what's working for you, you start to expand on the energy that you're putting into your business. And it's not like you're putting out more like physical energy, but it's that frequency energy that we have. And so things become easier. Conversations are easier, doing the things that need to be done are easier. Also, we don't have to do all the things. When I first started online, I wrote the books, I had the podcast, I had every single thing that I was told to do, I did them all. All I did was burn myself out. Serious.
Yeah.
Social media. I don't personally like social media. So I have my community and I have LinkedIn, and that's pretty much it. YouTube as well. But, I don't do Facebook, I don't do Instagram, I don't do TikTok, I don't do all of those other things because it drains me, right? As a neurodivergent person, I just find it draining. And so I find the things that work for me. And everybody, it's going to be different, right? They say go where your people are, but your people are going to find you. Everyone is everywhere now. There's no one platform where everybody is. And so, there's 8 billion people on this planet. You don't want all 8 billion people. You could not handle all 8 billion people. So find your people, by putting yourself out there and being your most authentic self, will resonate with you, and then
Yeah.
go from there, right? But we're always trying to be something we're not. We're trying to show up in a way that's not authentic to us. And then
Yeah.
what we're really doing is we're pushing people away, because people can feel it, whether they know what it is or not, they can feel it. And so the more authentic we can be and just show up in a way that works for us, the better our businesses will be. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love we don't have to show up everywhere in every way. We
We
feel like,
don't.
well, I was supposed to do all these things. And, I get caught in that too. And it's funny because sometimes even with this podcast, I will do so many episodes and so many shows in a row to where the point where I'm like, okay, I'm feeling burnt out from it. Right. And for me, it's doing those things in moderation. So not going super hard in one platform, or not putting everything in it's spacing things out and saying, okay, I'm going to do a little bit with my podcast this week. I'm going to do a little bit of social media, and I'm really going to work on this course this week, and kind of balancing them that way, because otherwise I get burnt out in one of those modes, and then I focus on another one. And then I'm like, okay, well, now I'm tired of this. And so I think balance is really the key of that. And I love that you talked about not having to feel like we have to do all of it. Do what calls to you. Do what you think is enjoyable. Do what you feel is aligned. And it doesn't have to be everything.
Yeah, it shouldn't be everything, honestly.
Yes.
And part of the problem is that we're often told this is the one way, right? So we talk to this coach and that this is the one way. And then we talk to another coach and this is the one way. And so then we think, well, if that's the one way and that's the one way, then we have to do all of the one ways. And it's like, no. The more we start to pay attention to our own self and our energy and what feeds us, the easier everything becomes. It's when we're trying to chase something, right? If we're trying to chase the money, or if we're trying to chase, the numbers on social media, or whatever it is, the harder it is. And so when we can let go and just allow, everything gets simpler, right? Just everything. But we're still struggling with our brain of, must do more, must do more, must produce, must, show value to others. And so we have to be doing that internal work to be able to work through that, because our brain lies to us all the time.
Yes. And tapping into our intuition with that, because it's interesting. You'll see a lot of people in business, a lot of creators say, I just started this account for fun. I just started doing this for fun because I enjoyed it. And then it turned into this massive business. And now I have all of these followers. And so it's putting the energy into things that you enjoy and that lights you up, and not the things that are feeling like it's forced. So many times we're forcing things. And like you said, chasing the money, like we're trying to force that to come in. And it's ease, it's letting go, it's opening yourself up to receiving, not trying to require something to come in.
Yeah. And it is hard to recognize that because of what we've been taught. But the more you allow it, the more you allow yourself to be in that space, the more you understand it, right? And so there's probably people who would hear this and go, well, that's ridiculous. But the more you actually move into that, the more you understand it and how important it is, because we can't keep it out. How many women do we see burnt out on the regular, right? Because not only do we have the business, but we often have families and, partners and, other things, now aging parents, whatever it is. We have all of these things going on, and it falls to the women to look after everything. And our business is often on the side, and then we're feeling guilty because we're not doing enough, right? Must do more. And and that's part of it. So we have to then start to look at ourselves and like, what is sustainable for us? What really lights us up? What's going to give us more energy to be doing the things? And that's so important.
Yeah. I feel like that is so huge, what you're talking about. We feel guilty about the business is falling because we're taking care of our parents, and then we're taking care of the kids, and the there's so many things that are pulling at our attention and our energy at all times. And I think we really need to sit down and give ourselves perspective on that. What's lighting me up? How much do I actually have to give? And which places do I want to be putting that into? Because it's so much all the time. It's impossible. We can't always be that person. Yeah. And it's seasons. We live in seasons of our life too. There's times that we'll be more focused on family. There's times we'll be more focused in business, and you're allowed to fluctuate that.
It's funny you say that, because we actually use a seasonal planning for our work, for our businesses, and we use the energies of the seasons to decide what we're doing when. And so as you're saying that, it's very true, right? We have seasons in our life, and we have seasons that our interests ebb and flow and all of those things. But when we also can tap into the moon energy, and when we can tap into like what's happening with the seasons and be in flow with that, and our society goes against it, because summer is actually action time, right? It's the like, let's produce, like, let's do the things. And we're in, I don't want to do anything because it's summer. Whereas, winter is when we have all the push with Christmas and Black Friday and Thanksgiving, like all of those things. So for business, it's the busiest time, and it's the time we should be in rest. It's the time that we, so then how can you still take advantage of the way our society works, but also tap into your own energy? And a lot of that comes with planning and being able to, do things ahead of time, and to automate things and have things in place for that, so that you don't have to be constantly in that energy. Yeah. Really important.
The planning on that is huge. And the forethought of, okay, this is going to be my season of rest. I'm going to be resting this month, or I'm taking this vacation, and I know that. And so I'm going to prep for that. I'm going to plan for that and give myself the ease. And also, as women with our menstrual cycles, we are in 4 seasons every month. We experience the seasonal year in a single month. And so we go through that. And I was actually on a different podcast. We were talking about how, as women, we're experiencing that entire year in 1 month. And then we're doing that 12 times throughout the year, and how powerful that is. Like how many seasons of rebirth that we have, and growth and rest. And that's so like refreshing and re-energizing that, okay, well, here is this month, and now I get to start these seasons all over again. Yeah.
That's a really important part of the cycles of, paying attention to what's going on within us. And if you look at the masculine energy, has a 24-hour cycle. A woman's energy has a 28-day cycle. So you're trying to do everything in one day that, your energy has ebbs and flows throughout the month, right? And so when you try to cram it all into one day, of course you're going to get burnt out. Of course, and so the more we start to tap into how we're feeling, right? Really pay attention to what's going on with us. Why are you so tired today? We're going to make up stories. We're going to say, oh, because of this, because of that. But it most likely because this is the part of your cycle where you're supposed to be at rest, and you're not. And so the more we start to pay attention, that's another thing I often tell women to do, is track your cycle, track your energy. If you're in menopause, postmenopause, like I am, track your energy, because you still have cycles. And so they may not be the same, and not everyone is exactly the same anyway, but, tracking that so that you can start to see what your patterns are. Where is your high energy time? Where is your low energy time? Where do you feel like you want to be more creative? Where do you feel like you want to be, doing something more productive? Really pay attention to that.
And giving yourself rest when you need it. And it's funny, because I was talking about how when I'm in my follicular phase and ovulation phase, I'm all excited. I want to be seen. I'm doing all of these things. And so I end up planning a bunch of things. They're like, oh, in 2 weeks we have this event. So of course I sign up for it. Well, in 2 weeks, I'm peak of my luteal phase. I don't want to be anywhere except on the couch in my pajamas. I'm not going to be out at some red carpet event. And so also being very mindful of that when you're planning things, and of your seasons of the month, and it's huge in our business too. That affects when we're putting out courses, when we're creating new things, when we're in that kind of energy. So
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons that I tell women to start with tracking, right? Is just start paying attention. It's one of the ways because, you know, our brain, like I've said, it lies to us. So we might think, oh, I was really productive last week. Were you really? Right? Is that a story you're telling yourself? Were you? So the more you can actually track it and see, and maybe it's different times of the day. Like I know I'm super energized and I have a lot more brain power in the morning. So I do a lot of, my planning and I do a lot of, working on courses and things like that. In the afternoon, not so much. So I want simpler things. Maybe I'm, working on graphics and things that, kind of light me up because I like to be creative. And so I have to plan my day around those things as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's important to think about too, because I feel like a lot of times we'll plan meetings and stuff for that mid-afternoon when that's when I'm tired. I'm ready to take a nap. And so it's true. I do plan most of my productive stuff in the mornings. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And I have sort of a cutoff point too of talking to people. So about 3:00 my time, I'm done talking to people. I don't want to do it anymore. I need to shut that part of my brain off. And so, that's a pretty clear boundary I have.
I love that. It's needed. It's needed. And you know that about yourself. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, Larissa. Well, we are going to wrap up, but I do have a final question for you. What is your favorite way now to tap into your creativity? Some rituals, some things that you enjoy doing?
Yeah. As a creative, as an artist, there's really no creativity that I don't like.
Okay.
One of the simplest things when I just need a break is just doodling. Like I get out some paper, I get out a pen, and I just sit for a few minutes and doodle on paper. And sometimes something comes of it, and sometimes it's just a lot of nothing. But just allowing it to let go, right? If I'm feeling more energetic, I'm a painter and I do a lot of abstract painting. And so I like to get out and paint. When I have nothing left and I'm, in the evenings, I crochet, right? So it can be anything. But when I just need a break, I'm going to get out pen and paper and just doodle. Yeah.
I love that. And such an easy, simple strategy too. And it's something that you can do anywhere. So yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your incredible input and experience on women truly tapping into their feminine, especially in business, because it is so challenging. And it's something that we are so programmed in the opposite. So thank you for helping women and elevating the collective through that, because it's so needed, and for sharing your experience with that.
Well, thank you. I am passionate about it, so I love to share. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah. Can you let our listeners know where they can find you?
Yes. So Heart Centered Academy, and it's www.heartcentered.academy. There's no .com, no dot. So .academy. And we've got everything there, free things and, programs, memberships and courses, all the things. On social media, like I said, I'm not a big social media person. So LinkedIn, and we do have a YouTube channel because I do live shows. I don't like to edit and do all of those things, so I do live shows. And so we have a YouTube channel at Heart C Academy. All our social media is Heart C Academy, all one word, and that's where you can find us. Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. And we'll put all of that in the show notes as well. So
perfect. Well, thank you.
Thank you again for sharing your feminine wisdom with us.
Thank you for having me and allowing me to share.
Yeah. And as always, if you found value in the show, please like, share, save, share it with any women in your life who you feel that would benefit from our message. And that is one of the best ways for us to help elevate the collective. So I will see all of you lovely goddesses next week.